What's going on, guys? It's Bradders from Rabid Games here, and welcome to the moon rocket. I know, it's a moon rocket. You're probably thinking, well, that's not particularly large, Bradders. I thought to get to the moon you'd need an absolutely insane, massive rocket. Well, it turns out you do not. This thing actually has the capability of landing on the moon. It won't be able to get back, but it does have the capability of landing on the moon if I'd have added landing legs. But today we're not doing that. Today we are going around into orbit around the moon, and showing you all the different areas to get science and stuff from. Before that though, I just want to show you real quick what this actually consists of, what these yellow things are, in case you don't know. These are fuel lines, and basically this vehicle uses a thing called fuel crossfeed. So essentially, if you don't know what that is, we have two external tanks on top of each other, and we have three of them, as you can see around the vehicle. Use symmetry to put them on. What these do is they suck fuel from this bottom tank here, and they put it into this tank here. So basically it means that these boosters will burn out before this engine at the bottom here, and it means that when these fall away, when we activate these decouplers, it means that this middle stage here will have essentially a full tank of fuel. So yeah, that's a good launch vehicle. It's much more efficient than what we've done in the past. I don't know if I've covered that before in the past. I've also put some wings on just to help with stability and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a really useful launch vehicle to have. I will join you once we got into orbit, and I will see you on the other side, guys. So as you can see, we're now in an orbit. We're a roughly circular orbit. I mean, it's not great. That's 115, that's 94, but it's close enough and it'll do for us. You don't need to worry too much about getting your orbit circular, because as long as it's pretty circular, other than that, you're just wasting fuel. So now what you need to do is look down on Kerbal, like the snob you are. No, I'm just joking. Look down on Kerbal so that the North Pole is looking. Now use your scroll wheel to zoom right out. Now, as you can see, there's a line around here. That's the moon's orbit, or the MUN as it's called. You can see here, I've already got rovers and a probe around it. A couple of them have failed attempts, but this is the moon. Now, the moon rotates this way with regards to Kerbal. So what you need to do is you need to go into your orbit and go roughly where my mouse is in terms of it, and you need to click on it to create a maneuver node, like so. Then what you need to do, pull the prograde vector and go right out like that. And you can see there, see that purple line? Now you just click on the maneuver node and move it around like so, and you can see that we get a moon encounter. This is what this purple line is here. The orange line's our maneuver node, the purple is our encounter, and the green is where it's going to fling us if we don't do anything with that encounter and we just use the gravity from it. Now we need to get this periaps, of the this purple periaps down as close as possible to the MUN as possible. So, because that'll take the least amount of delta V. So that's 815, and that's 521. I'm going to go there because that's pretty. That's a pretty good medium, I think, to go with. So if we check here, we're almost out of fuel with this stage here. It did us very well to get into space here. I perhaps could have been a bit more, I don't know, useful with my burns. I could have been perhaps a bit more careful, but we're going to ditch this stage in a second anyway. So where are we now? This is another ship. That's a space station which I put up last episode. Well, not episode, sorry, but in my own career mode jollies. So watch the time here. We want to start about a minute beforehand. So if I stop there and I try and find my maneuver node, come on. Oh dear, it doesn't matter too much, to be honest, if you don't get it a minute before, but it does. It's pretty. Come on, it's only an 18-second burn, so supposedly. So I'm going to throttle up here. See, and now it has gone up to 35 and my stage is burnt out, so we're going to ditch the stage, fire the next one. Now you can see it's a 1 minute 33 second burn, but that's okay. That's okay, we're fine. We've still got plenty of time to do it. And we're still going to get a pretty good encounter. But now, we don't want to waste fuel all that much. So we're just going to do this burn now. And we'll wait. You can see the green line here as I was moving the maneuver node. You could see me, this getting wider. That's because the moon's because we're closer to the moon, the gravity will have more of an effect on us, so it'll fling us out further. So that should be fun. So we're just burning up now. You can see our app's growing out to Kerbin into a more eccentric orbit than it was in previously. So you know, we just hit our maneuver node. We're still climbing. It's going to put us into a quite elliptical orbit if we don't do anything. But we are going to capture ourselves into a capture orbit around the MUN, so it's going to be okay. At least I think so anyway. Come on, 23 seconds. You can do that. So yeah, in the next episode, I do think I'll do something with space probes, show you how to put a probe in deep space and how to transmit your data, because that's something I want to do. Also, if you're wondering what this question mark thing is, don't worry about it. Oh god, it's an E object. I might want to track that one at a later date. One, and burn is done. And you can see now we have an encounter with this purple line here. So now what we can do is we can delete our maneuver node. That was new in the new sort of 0.23.5 update that they've done recently. So now you can see our encounter displayed in yellow, and in purple you can see our periaps after that encounter should we not do anything. So we're going to time accelerate now using the time accelerate keys, and we are going to get to the MUN right here, and I shall see you guys when we are there. So as you can see now, we are about to cross. I've done that little bit of distance that you saw since our last clip, and you can see now there's this arrow. This is where our encounter starts, and this is where we're going to cross from Kerbin's nav ball, almost like this is our orientation with regards to Kerbin at the moment. So at the moment, up is that way, down is that way, etc, etc. When we cross this line here, this is when we are going to cross into the moon's what, I don't know what you call it, but the moon's kind of, I don't know, orientation, that's the word. But I'm going to time accelerate towards here because no one wants to wait 29 minutes now. I don't think Bandicam can handle it, so we're going to cross. I'd always recommend slowing down time acceleration, but here we go. We are currently in our approach to the moon. Now you want to time accelerate until you reach periaps. Don't do it too fast. Wait until you reach periaps or just before periaps. It doesn't matter all that much. So about, I'm going to say here. Flip yourself retrograde, like so, and then thrust with all you've got. And now you'll see here our yellow orbit flattening out and expanding, but you'll also see this blue line, which is our orbit around the moon, begins to curve. This is because, if you'll see in a second, we're now in orbit around the moon, and we're going to bring that down. Going to bring this orbit down. Our periaps is 496. I'm going to bring that down slightly more. I'm going to say about maybe just under 100 kilometers. I'd say was a good place to get science. So about there, and then we need to obviously go around to periaps. I know I missed that just a little bit there, but it doesn't matter too much. I mean, as long as you're roughly in that area, it doesn't matter. So we're going to bring this down below 100 as well. I'm not going to thrust fully because I'd be wasting fuel then, and that's not good. I'm actually going to keep it there so that we've got an escape route should we need to do that. There's one of them huge asteroids again, which I will show you in our next video, or a video after that. I'm not sure quite when. But as you can see, now we are in orbit around the moon. You can see Kerbin there, and here's the moon. Look at that. That is quite a sight, I do have to admit. Look at this. It's pretty cool. But now obviously you can do your usual thing. You can get your Kerbal out, Jebediah, trusty Jebediah in this process. this situation. Take an EVA report. Obviously, I've already done the science here. Getting back in. And the moon has different biomes. So, let's say you changed your orbit a little bit, so you were flying over this crater, this big-ass crater here. That would get you different science points if you were flying over the Midlands, which like we are now. Let's say you put yourself into a polar orbit. You came around like this rather than like this, like we are at the moment. That would mean that you... what's it called? You would get different science yet again. So there's lots of different biomes to explore, both in the air and on foot. And most of them are in craters such as these, and particularly this crater here and this big crater here. So I'll leave you to just to go and find those and to find them your own. I think there's a website somewhere that will show you what they are. But now to return. To return, we need to get off our maneuver node once again. Put it roughly where you want it to, roughly around here, sort of like perpendicular to where you are, and you need to thrust prograde. And now you see that'll put us into this orbit. It's a 35-second burn. I wonder if we'll have enough fuel. Somehow I doubt it, but we'll definitely escape the moon, no problem. We can always use RCS if it doesn't work, because we've equipped RCS to our system here. You can see the thrusters here and the small tank here. So obviously you can do your mystery goo and everything. So what you want to do, obviously this will give us this will give us a moon escape, and it'll put us into this orbit, which will bring us straight back down to Kerbin, which isn't advisable in real life, I would say, but in this I don't even know what to say, but in this game, because obviously games aren't exactly realistic, but it doesn't matter that much. It just means you'll get more awesome re-entry effects. So we're gonna time accelerate round to our maneuver node here. Make sure that we keep on our little vector here. Make sure not to time accelerate too much. 2 minutes. I'm going to start thrusting a minute beforehand. So we've got 30 seconds. I'm going to time it just a little bit more. Come on. Okay, there we go. 6 seconds to burn. 3, 2, 1. And fire your engines up to full. See our orbit expanding here. And any second now you will see we'll get a moon escape. I could have probably done this a little bit more efficiently. I'm just trying to show that you don't have to have massive amounts of delta V. And so here you can see we want to get our periaps down inside the atmosphere, so below 70 kilometers. With what little fuel we have left, 15 units of fuel. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Yeah, we're going to do it fine. There we go. With fuel to spare. So that's a good orbit. And that's actually better than what I could have achieved otherwise. So I'm going to delete that sorry, I can't speak. Maneuver node. And we're going to time accelerate. Like so. And you can see we're back in Kerbin's sphere of influence. Now what you want to do, standard re-entry procedure. We're going to time accelerate back around. And you can see here, time accelerate times 1. I'm just going to time accelerate us really gently into the atmosphere. We're actually going to come down on the day side and on land. So now obviously what you want to do is flip yourself retrograde. We can probably jettison this rocket too, because we have no longer have a need for it. So obviously flip yourselves onto the retrograde marker. Standard re-entry procedure now. If you have thermometers and stuff like that, you can obviously do your science and stuff like that, but you can see the cool re-entry effects as we come in at 3 kilometers a second. That's sure going to mess with some heads, including Jebediah's. You can see the G-force rising up here. That would probably kill most humans. Yeah, that would definitely kill most humans, because we're going upwards of 15 Gs at the moment. So poor Jebediah is probably not looking like that. He's probably got his face sort of wrenched off. So obviously you can see the Mach effects here. It's back here. You want to deploy your parachutes. See, we have a drogue chute as well. And we have 4 like kind of thing. You can turn off SAS so it follows. Oh crap, it doesn't. I forgot that this design does not follow it. So keep your SAS on and just follow your what's it called? Your retrograde marker. I cannot speak today, I apologise. All the way down, and then you should eventually land. So obviously you could do that a lot more efficiently than what I did. I would recommend though, before you even try going to the moon, I'd suggest unlocking solar panels or putting absolute shit tons of batteries upon it, because otherwise you're going to do what like my early probe attempts did, and that was just fail, just like go dead straight in space, so I had to terminate them. Which is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, they were only probes, so they didn't matter too much. You can see here we're coming down, we're below most of the mountains, our parachutes are about to go hot any second. There we go. And so we're going to glide slowly to the Earth. I'm going to time accelerate that just a tad. Looks like we're coming down a bit of a slope, but not to worry. We'll have all the awesome science once we get in and we can click recover vessel. Or you will. I won't, because I am awful at this game and I've already done this sort of stuff. So you can see we're coming down. As you can see, nice work. And touchdown. Coming on a bit of a slope. Oh, we're rolling. No, come back, come back. Excellent. So now obviously you can click recover vessel and you would get science from it. Back at the tracking station. Ta-da! I got no science from that. But yeah guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully in the next one I will show you some probes, or so how to get probes into deep space. Not anal probes obviously, because that's a bit wrong. Why? But in the next episode I'll either show you the new parts in the NASA asteroid mission pack, or I shall show you how to make a space probe. But until then guys, I've been Bradders, this has been Kerbal Space Program, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace!